and let's say you're a person who likes a really good deep tissue massage, okay? And you go to the massage therapist, and they're giving you a nice massage, but you keep telling them to give you a deeper tissue massage, to really get in there with their elbows and really dig in and really work those muscles, right? And they're just not doing that. They just keep kind of rubbing you gently over your body and massaging you lightly. Well, at the end of it, you're still going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel like, okay, that was a pretty good massage, but you're still not going to have gotten rid of that major tension, and you're just going to have to go get somebody else to do it that's going to give you a really good deep massage, you know. And what's happening is Obama is kind of giving that light massage, and we're like, yeah, but Obama, we really need this deep tissue massage. And he's just not digging in there doing it. He's just kind of rubbing around, you know. So I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to do it too hard. You know, it's like, no, just get in there and rub it out, you know. So I feel like that's what's going on here. Is he's kind of pussyfooting around, as you say, and not really taking charge like a lion, and that's really what we need him to do right now. This is the 700 to 900 billion dollars I'm reading over the next 2 years, I think, you know. And Jinx said, and I said this in a previous show, if we took that money, we could pay for half the kids in America to 2 year to 4 years to pay for room, board, and school, so that they could go to school, become what they want to be, and we could have a wealthier society. You know, we give every American in the entire country, every citizen, $500, you know. And there was something else he said we could do with the money too. But instead, we're going to sit here and give $20,000 to $40,000 extra to each of these wealthy people, and it's not going to help our economy. And the rich people have said this. The rich people are signing a petition. I think it's got at least 40 signatures from these millionaires that are like, look, this is really not going to hurt our business if you end the tax cuts. In fact, it'll help the economy a lot if you do that. It's not going to hurt our business. It's just not, you know. So that's my piece for right now.
Okay, thank you for that, Kahea. If you have a comment or if you'd like to use my platform to speak directly to the President of the United States, again, he's not present and there's no plan for him to be here, please call 1-347-857-4296. Kahea mentioned about President Obama being held hostage by the Republican Party. And I've heard that several times.
The middle class people being held hostage as far as their tax breaks. I think in relation to them being included with the other tax breaks and keeping ours, but not keeping the ones for the rich. And I think that might be the hostage scenario, but I'm not sure. But go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I've heard some clips where President Obama did state that he's being held hostage by the Republican Party, and the American people are also being held hostage by the Republican Party. Now, speaking from my experience as a soldier, President Barack Obama, I'm just going to give you some advice. When you are a hostage captured by the enemy, there's only 3 things that you must do. 1, you give them your name. 2, you give them your rank. 3, you give them your serial number. That's it. You owe them nothing else. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the steps that you should be taking. It's about giving the American people what they deserve. We've fought for this for years, over and over. Every time somebody is elected, they come in with the same promises, And to this day, we have not received it. So now it's our turn. So please remember, name, rank, and serial number until we get what we want. And that's what I have to say. Okay, Kahea?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty much, how I feel. The issue that's coming up, and that little kid said it the other day, and Obama said this out of his own mouth, and he's making it happen. That little kid said the other day he needs to give the power back to the Republicans, And this is the issue. First of all, in my opinion, this is why I will never vote Republican until their party gets it together. They are too much in your business. They're in your life, and I feel like, and they push their Christian agendas. And I don't have a problem with people and their religion, but I have a problem with people trying to force their religious dogma onto me and in my house and in my body. You know what I mean? And I don't think that they used to be like that. This is, at least from what I can remember, I don't remember them being this extreme into their whole Christian and everything's got to be by the Bible, and if we interpret it to mean that God doesn't like it, then it needs to be a law. And this is not, this is, it's turning into some kind of religious dictatorship. And that's not what America is about. America was founded on freedom. America was founded on freedom of choice of religion. And the Republicans are always quoting the founding fathers. A lot of the founding fathers, and I would venture to say all of them, or at least most of them, were not pro-Christian. You know what I mean? They were pro-religious freedom. They made a lot of anti-Christian remarks. They made a lot of anti-religious remarks. And so it's not about whether they were Christian or not. It's about how the Constitution was written. And the Constitution was written for, and I took some time to read some of it. I remember you bought me a Bill of Rights. And I used to think they were separate because I remember I quoted from something and somebody said, no, that's the Bill of Rights. And I looked it up on Wiki. And the Bill of Rights is actually, I think, the first 14 amendments to the Constitution, and then all the other ones are after that. I think that's the right number. Anyway, I'm hearing them talk about things like this WikiLeaks thing that happened. And I'm hearing them say things like, well, he needs to be prosecuted, and if that doesn't fit into the law, well, then we need to change the Constitution. Like, what do you mean we need to change the Constitution? The Constitution is what keeps the balance in this country, is supposed to keep the balance in this country, and so anyway, I think what was my point? I was saying, right. So that's just giving the keys back to the Republicans. When Obama was in office, he talked about how it's like if you get a person who's driving a car and they're driving a car crazy or something like that, and then they run it into a ditch and they can't get out of the ditch. And then you have a group of people that come over and help get the car out of the ditch. But as soon as they get the car out of the ditch, these people want the keys back, and then they want to go run the car back into the ditch again, And let's say that's a child-parent relationship, okay? If you give your kids the keys to the car and they just learn how to drive, and they run your car into the ditch because they were drunk driving or being silly or whatever they were doing, and they can't get the car out of the ditch and they call you and you have to get the car out of the ditch, best believe you're not driving that car for at least a few weeks to a month, depending on how strict your parents are. And you're going to get your act together before you get that car back. And then you have to be responsible and prove your responsibility to get your driving rights back. And I feel like what he's doing is he's being a slack parent, and when you're a slack parent, then all your kids do is take advantage of you. And so they'll just be like, oh, whatever, I can drive the car into the ditch whenever my mom doesn't fix. She's just going to say something, and she's going to give me the keys back anyway, And that's what's happening. He's making a situation where not only the Republicans are going to want the keys back, but the American people aren't going to know who else to give the keys to, but to give it back to the Republicans. And the thing is, I think a lot of people might be concerned about voting, like maybe independent or something like that, because they know at the end of the day, it's going to come down to two parties. It's going to come down to the Democrats or the Republicans. You know, and if the Democrats can't seem to get it together, then they're going to give it back to the Republicans. And the Republicans will stand strong and cheat and do anything they can to stay in office, just like they did with Bush. And then we're going to have the kind of situation that we had over the last 8 years. And I do not see Obama and the Democratic Party being anything like Bush, having the cojones enough to sit here and cheat and try to keep the Democratic Party so that they can get stuff together, you know. So if he keeps acting like he's acting, then he's going to cause a lot of people to lose faith in him. And people who are on the fence that tried to vote Democratic to see what would happen are going to go to the other side and vote Republican, and we're going to get in a worse situation than what we're in. He needs to be strong and make people want to follow him as a leader. Okay, I'm done.
Well, Kahea, there are, and I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but there are a lot more people that supports President Obama than you are aware of. They support him 100%. They are behind him 100%, and this is why I am on here to let him know that the American people support him, because he doesn't want this deal, and neither does the American people. And the American people wants him to stand up to the Republicans and not be afraid of them and fight for what we deserve, fight for what we want.
Right.
And
Amen.
that's why I'm using this platform to send a message to him. And whoever is listening, you know, I want them to know that there are a lot of Democratic people out here that are supporting President Obama. Yes, we're not happy about what's going on, but we're a team. And on that note, I'm going to say something that comes from you know how you get these little notepads with little sayings on them? And this is from Success Stories, Inc. And it describes teamwork. Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. And this is exactly what we're going through with the Republican Party. But if we continue to stick together and work as a team, we can accomplish this goal. So with all due respect, President Obama, please be advised that we are here to support you 100% against the Republican Party. It's our turn now. If you would like to comment, if you would like to say something to the President of the United States, no, he's not here. There's no plans for him to be here. But there are people listening. Please feel free to call 1-347-857-4296. On the phone, we have 646 area code, 423 area code, and in chat, we have Chuck and PJ Radio. They have their own show. Please put your link in chat. We have Kahea, who's in chat and as well on the phone. And Tracy G. Moore. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule. Those who are listening in archive later, those who are streaming, those who are on demand, please feel free to call in, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to take this moment here to go for a commercial break if anyone would like to get a drink of water or they have something else to do. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.